Turkish March is by Beethoven. I was like, oh, well, let's still watch it anyways, because, like, I love Beethoven. Beethoven's dope. And then I loaded the video, and the video's an autoplay, and guess what he started playing? He started playing the first 3 seconds of Rondo alla Turca by Mozart. So I thought it was Mozart, then I thought it was Beethoven. And then I turned on the video, and it's actually Mozart. So this is Rondo alla Turca. It's a Turkish rondo by Mozart.
This song, I think everybody knows this song. This song is in films, this song is in computer games, more namely Lemmings. The music out the game Lemmings is cool. It's a cool rendition. Alip Ba Ta is absolutely nailing it so far.
Like it's the version off of Class Tab, by the way. This is the first time I've seen Alip on a classical guitar, or as you may know it, a folk guitar or a nylon string guitar.
I love watching this guy, man.
And the main characteristics, we never really talked about the differences of guitars before. The main characteristic of a classical guitar is the strings are made out of nylon. Well, they're actually usually nylon wrapped around a metal core, but you actually have nylon. And the distance between the strings is wider. So the actual neck is wider because the strings are further apart, because it makes it easier for you to get your fingers in there.
So just before we go on, this is very interesting. So first of all, he's on a nylon string guitar, which is a classical guitar and not an acoustic guitar. You know, the strings are made of a different material. On a classical guitar, they're nylon, and an acoustic guitar, they're steel strings. I'm noticing with in his right hand, he doesn't have the nails out, which typically a classical guitarist will have their nails grown out a little bit so they can pluck the strings. So he's obviously playing more with the pads of his fingers. Which gives a rounder sound, doesn't sound as bright as it would typically be with a classical guitarist. Now, as I know the piece well, I find it quite interesting that he's changing the arrangement a little bit. So he's not taking the piano piece and trying to do an exact copy of it on the guitar or as close as. He's actually slightly changed some of the sections, which is a bold move to change Mozart, but it works. He knows what he's doing. I couldn't help but laugh a little bit because I could see him getting distracted in the video because the kids are playing in the background.
Did something distract you then? It might have distracted him. But he carried on playing like it was nothing. Ah. Even though the video quality is terrible, we still get to hear exactly what Alip Ba Ta can do, and we know how good this guy is. Let's go.
As opposed to, say, what most people call an acoustic guitar, but they're both acoustic guitars. This is a steel string acoustic guitar because it is a steel core string with steel wrapped around and a much narrower neck. These guitars tend to be louder and brighter, but it's harder to keep separation of your fingers between the strings because of the narrowness of the neck. And in this case, my acoustic steel string has a tapered neck, meaning that it's a little wider here than it is here. It's a little more narrow. Because I think he's only had a couple of songs where, like, you have to pick and choose your poison. There's a couple of songs where I'm like, that would be fun to play. But I don't want to lose my life. I don't want to spend like 8 months learning like an elite song, you know?
Another thing I think, am I wrong on this, or is that a 3/4 size guitar? I don't think that's a full size classical guitar. The body looks very small. Maybe he's quite big. I don't know. But it does look a little smaller in scale than normal. I can't remember which reaction of his it was that I did, but I did make a point before about his sense of timing and being very strict and very straight and never sort of deviating from the beat, unless obviously very intentionally. And I like his choice of keeping the tempo very strict because it goes with the style of this song, particularly in this major section, which in the piano arrangement, it has these sort of arpeggios, which actually are kind of mimicking a guitar. Now he's making that look easy. That's not easy. On the piano, all of those runs are all in the right hand, but the accompaniment is in the left. So to try and combine those two things into one hand, you know, I'm not even going to try and attempt to play that on the guitar. I'll stick to my piano, I think, for this one. Let's push on. That's impressive. And he's maintaining the clarity, most importantly. You know, on an acoustic instrument like this here, you can't get away.
You know how hard it is to play one of these guitars, these ones in specifically. This is a classical guitar. This has got plastic strings and steel strings. Do you know how hard these are to get a tune out of? Very.
Begitu rangkaian nada pembuka mulai berhamburan dari gitar, 3 reaktor ini langsung menunjukkan perubahan ekspresi yang berbeda-beda. Reaktor pertama spontan mendekat ke layar dengan mata membesar, seperti baru saja menyadari kalau lagu yang mereka kenal ternyata bisa dibentuk dengan karakter yang sama sekali berbeda. Reaktor kedua malah mengangkat alis sambil tersenyum kecil. Kepalanya bergerak mengikuti tempo yang lincah, sedangkan reaktor ketiga terlihat paling serius. Tatapannya terkunci pada jemari alip bata yang bergerak cepat dan presisi. Beberapa detik kemudian, reaktor pertama mulai geleng-geleng kepala dengan senyum tak percaya. Sementara 2 lainnya seperti sedang berlomba memahami bagaimana petikan, bass, dan melodi bisa berjalan bersamaan tanpa terdengar bertabrakan. Ketika permainan memasuki bagian yang semakin cepat, reaktor kedua langsung berubah paling ekspresif. Matanya melebar dan mulutnya sedikit terbuka. Lalu tangannya ikut bergerak mengikuti aksen nada yang terasa seperti berkejaran. Reaktor pertama justru beberapa kali menarik napas pendek, matanya berpindah dari satu gerakan jari ke gerakan lainnya, seolah takut melewatkan detail kecil yang membuat permainan ini terdengar begitu rumit. Sementara reaktor ketiga perlahan menggeleng sambil tersenyum miring, lalu menunjuk ke layar dengan ekspresi seperti ingin mengatakan bahwa bagian tersebut nyaris gak masuk akal dimainkan dengan satu gitar. Semakin cepat aransemen bergerak, ketiganya semakin kehilangan kesempatan buat ngobrol karena perhatian mereka benar-benar tersedot oleh pergantian tempo dan rangkaian nada yang terasa lincah, tajam, sekaligus penuh kendali. Saat bagian melodi mulai dimainkan dengan aksentuasi yang lebih agresif, reaktor pertama langsung bersandar sambil mengangkat kedua alisnya. Ekspresinya berubah dari penasaran menjadi kagum yang terang-terangan. Sementara reaktor kedua tertawa kecil lalu menggeleng berkali-kali seperti gak habis pikir melihat koordinasi tangan yang begitu rapat. Reaktor ketiga malah terlihat paling terpukau. Tubuhnya sedikit maju dan matanya menyipit. mencoba mengikuti perpindahan jari yang begitu cepat sampai akhirnya dia cuma bisa tersenyum sambil mengangkat tangan. Yang menarik, meskipun permainan ini terdengar riuh dan penuh gerakan, ketiganya mulai menangkap bahwa di balik kecepatan tersebut ada kontrol yang sangat disiplin. Karena setiap hentakan tetap berada di tempatnya dan setiap perubahan frase terasa seperti sudah dihitung dengan sangat matang. Ketika nada terakhir akhirnya menghilang, ketiganya sempat terdiam sebelum reaktor pertama menghembuskan napas panjang sambil tersenyum lebar, seolah baru saja menyelesaikan perjalanan yang melelahkan hanya dengan mendengarkan. Reaktor kedua langsung menoleh dengan ekspresi takjub, kemudian menggeleng lagi sambil tertawa kecil. Sedangkan reaktor ketiga masih terpaku ke layar beberapa saat sebelum akhirnya mengangguk pelan. Gak ada yang langsung bisa menjelaskan semuanya dengan kata-kata, karena yang barusan mereka lihat bukan cuma permainan cepat yang memamerkan ketangkasan, tapi sebuah pertunjukan di mana satu gitar seolah berubah menjadi beberapa instrumen sekaligus. Dan justru kemampuan Alip Ba Ta mengendalikan keruwetan itu dengan tetap terdengar musikal yang bikin ketiga reaktor benar-benar kehilangan alasan untuk meremehkannya. Itulah lur untuk reaksi kali ini, sampai jumpa lagi di video lainnya bersama channel Rafiko. Admin ucapkan terima kasih telah menonton.